Evacuations are underway in bushfire zones across Victoria and New South Wales as the death toll across the two states rises to 10. Authorities are warning conditions could be worse tomorrow than they were on New Year's Eve. We begin this hour with the latest details. In Victoria, 28 people are unaccounted for in bushfire zones. 2 people have been confirmed dead. The Navy is rescuing hundreds of people trapped by flames in Mallacoota in the East Gippsland region. A state of disaster has been declared for 6 local government areas. In New South Wales, police have confirmed 8 people have died in bushfires. A massive evacuation operation is underway in towns and national parks on the state's south coast. 449 homes have been destroyed since the start of January. A state of emergency has been declared. It's the 3rd this bushfire season. Authorities in Victoria have issued fresh warnings to residents and tourists in danger zones to evacuate now ahead of worsening conditions tomorrow in the state's east and northeast. There are currently 7 evacuate now notices in place across Victoria. There is also an emergency warning in place for 1 bushfire in the region of Morrison in East Gippsland. The fire is now south of Bendock, Bonnang and Tubut and moving in a north-northeasterly direction. There are currently at least 50 fires burning across Victoria. 15 are at a watch and act level. The weather forecast for tomorrow is expected to result in extreme, unpredictable fire behaviour, and emergency services are issuing a clear message to those near fires to get out and to get out now.
If you can get out, you must get out now. Because who knows, there could be further fires start this afternoon or into tomorrow and cut further roads, so it will be too late to leave. So our fire services, our police and emergency services, everyone is doing absolutely everything they can to keep you safe. This is very much, though, about a shared responsibility. And there are things that you can do. And over and above leaving that particular area, you also need to stay across the conditions. And you can do that by downloading the Vic Emergency app. It's never too late. Do it.
The first of those 4,000 people trapped in Mallacoota in Victoria's East Gippsland region have been evacuated by naval vessels. Some of those have been trapped since Monday when fire tore through the area.
We know that today operations commenced with the Defence Force to evacuate around about 1,200 people from Mallacoota. We know that one of the ADF vessels has left Mallacoota, and they're in the process of loading about 1,100 people onto a second vessel that'll leave later this afternoon. We anticipate that, given appropriate weather conditions and sailing conditions, that we'll see some of those evacuees land up in Hastings tomorrow afternoon.
As parts of Victoria's east and northeast burn and mass evacuations take place across the region, people from around Victoria have banded together to support those who've been stranded in isolated communities for days. In Lucknow, in Victoria's East Gippsland region, trucks and utes driven by ordinary people have started shipping in food, clothing and essentials to those who are in need.
It started off as a Facebook post. Presently it's over $4,000 in funds waiting to clear. We've spent $2,000 yesterday on all the gear via communication with Wendy, and we just had to get here. All we want to do is focus on getting here and helping them. We don't want fees tied up in red tape. We don't want government involved. We just want to get it done. But this is the first of many. You know, with the money we've raised, we plan on helping the farmers restore their fences, doing what we can. You know, like I've got excavators available to me. People have called up and go, I've got tippers, excavators, I've got trucks, I've got all this sort of machinery, you know.
Why are you getting emotional?
Well, how can I not? Have a look at the response.
Started collecting on Monday, and this is what we got now.
And has it come from people all along the peninsula?
People all over the Morning Peninsula. The government's not doing much about it. We may as well help out where we can.
What have you brought from people?
Water, food, clothes, toys, shoes, thongs, chairs, sleeping bags.
Just how much do you have? It looks like
2 trailer loads. So there's about maybe 400 litres of water, 40 sleeping bags, 40 chairs. It's a lot of stuff.
The Prime Minister is visiting devastated communities in Victoria's east. Scott Morrison received a better reception than yesterday when he was heckled by residents on the New South Wales south coast. Joining us now from Bairnsdale Incident Control Centre is Patrick Murrell. Pat, he says the residents were frustrated, but he isn't taking the criticism personally.
Christy, it was certainly a warmer welcome here in Bairnsdale as Prime Minister Scott Morrison visited the Victorian bushfire zone for the first time. He started out bringing some much-needed supplies to the Lucknow Town Hall, where volunteers have been manning the stands, taking in everything from food to water to clothes. There was a very warm reception there, and also from those in Sarsfield, where several homes and properties have been lost to the fires. He commiserated and shared his sympathy with those who have lost so much in these fires, and they seem to welcome him there as well. It was a very stark contrast to the reception he received on the south coast of New South Wales, where he was heckled by people who have lost homes there. Take a listen to some of that.
Thing, you moron!
I don't see Kirribilli burning after the fireworks.
Boomer! This is not fair. We are totally forgotten about down here. Every single time this area has a flood or a fire, we get nothing. If we were Sydney, if we were North Coast, we would be flooded with donations, with emergency relief.
Prime Minister Scott Morrison was widely criticised for apparently forcing people to shake his hand and then ignoring them when they asked him questions. He wasn't even safe from his own ranks. Local Liberal MP in the area and New South Wales Transport Minister Andrew Constance wasn't mincing words when he said that Prime Minister Scott Morrison got the welcome he deserved in that area. Take a listen.
I didn't even know he was coming, and I haven't had a call from him. So to be honest with you, the locals probably gave him the welcome that he probably deserved. I'd say this to the Prime Minister today. The nation wants you to open up the chequebooks, obviously help people rebuild their lives. I know this is tough, and I know I'm on his side of politics, but, you know, Gladys and Shane Fitzsimmons came here 2 days ago.
Now, Prime Minister Scott Morrison has defended his response there. He says that he understands how people feel, how they are feeling frustrated, and that he won't let that distract him. He won't let any of that criticism distract him on doing all that he can to use all federal avenues to help the states during this bushfire crisis. Take a listen.
People are frustrated. People have suffered great loss. They're feeling very raw. Particularly where I was yesterday, and that's the case in many parts of the country. And so I understand how people are feeling. And if however they wish to respond is a matter for them. And all I seek to do is to provide the support of the Commonwealth Government and to assure them of everything we are doing to support them in this time of need.
And Pat, the Prime Minister says he is inclined to cancel his upcoming trip to India after coming under scrutiny for his holiday to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's right, Christy. This is a trip that's been in the works for a while, a January 2020 trip for Prime Minister Scott Morrison to go to India and meet with Prime Minister Narendra Modi there. He earlier said, just hours before that media conference was held, that the intention was still to go to India. However, at that media conference, he told reporters that he was inclined to now cancel the trip. That still has to go through a committee, though. The intention, though, from Prime Minister Scott Morrison is to cancel the trip so he can remain here while Australia is in the midst of a bushfire emergency.
Well, the National Security Committee has got a hook up actually in the morning on this. I'm inclined not to proceed with that visit. And there are some issues that I just need to resolve formally through what you'd expect when you make a decision of that nature, to work through those issues with the other ministers. But that is my inclination at this point.
I'm here in Bairnsdale, which is in East Gippsland. We've seen a flood of people moving through here as a mass evacuation of the far east of Victoria continues. People leaving that area before those really dangerous conditions on Saturday. Earlier today, there were massive queues of traffic through town, quite heavy traffic along a road that is usually quite light in traffic at this time of year. We also saw the train station completely packed with people seeking to leave the area. Those that are remaining are bracing for extremely dangerous conditions tomorrow and over the weekend.
Definitely very frightening down there. Thank you so much for the update, Patrick Murrell.